Hi friend, want a watercolor? Let's paint.
Okay, I didn't paint flowers, but somehow we got flowers. Today we're making a loose floral bouquet, but we're not really painting the flowers. We're going to splatter paint and then let the water do most of the work for us. By the end of this, you'll see how to turn random splatter into soft, dreamy watercolor florals, even if you're a complete beginner like me. My watercolor supplies are really simple and cost me under $25 total. I'm using watercolor paints, a paintbrush, and watercolor paper, plus a few optional household things like paper towels, a cup of tour water, and some masking tape. And if you're new here, I'm Jessie, learning watercolor on camera so you don't have to learn alone. And honestly, this is one of those paintings where you can just let it go a little and enjoy the process.
And if you're needing a little bit of me time today, I get it. Let's take a breath, grab a paintbrush, and let's watercolor.
Alright, let's do some loose florals in a bouquet. So I'm going to activate my watercolors by spritzing them down with some water in a spray bottle. If you don't have a spray bottle, you can just dab a little water on your brush and put it in the well with the paint. I'm going to let it activate for a few seconds, get my brush wet. I'm going to be using this number 8 brush and then a smaller one, and I'll link all of my supplies in the description below. And I'm thinking pinks and purples and maybe some blue flowers today. So I'm just going to grab some purple on my brush, grab the smaller brush and tap some of that paint, splatter it by tapping the two brushes together onto my paper. And it'll make a mess, but that's part of the fun of it. I need more. Alright, I'm going to wash off my brush in the rinse water cup, and then I'm going to grab some pink. Pink. This pink. Nice, vibrant, deep pink. And again, tapping it with the smaller brush, I'm going to tap it into the splatter. I'm trying to keep the splatter kind of contained into the upper third or upper half of the paper, and then also dragging it to the lower right hand corner because I want some like flowers drooping over that little canister or short little vase or cup that I'm going to be putting in the painting. And then a little bit of blue, because why not have some spring blue flowers in there as well. I'm just going to add a little bit of blue splatter because I don't want too many blue flowers ending up in the final picture. And then I'm getting some clean water on my brush, then dabbing a little bit of the water off, and then just going in the splatter paint little droplets and then just kind of moving them around with some water. It's very random. So these are going to end up being the flower petals in the bouquet. And you'll notice that I'm leaving a couple of little splatter bubbles or droplets there, so I'm not smooshing each paint droplet. I'm not creating into flowers. So I'm going to leave a couple of little droplets just for an organic look. Alright. And then we're going to use the smaller brush. We're going to add in some green, some stems and some leaves really quickly while the flower petals are still wet so it kind of blends nicely together. And keep in mind while I'm doing this what direction the stems are going to be headed, because in the end I'm going to want to have a little vase that the flowers are all going to be brought together in. And I'm thinking for the vase I've got pinks and blues, and purples, so I kind of want like a color that'll pop for the vase. So maybe I'll do like an orangey yellow so it's more of a complementary color to those purples and blues. That'll be fun for a cheery pop of color for spring flowers, I think. So I'm adding a couple of sprigs of the stems above the flower line at the top, just to make it more organic, like I've collected some just fresh stems and put them in with the flowers as well. Now I need to add a couple more sprigs up on top there. Let's start thinking about some leaves while it's still wet. I've got to go pretty quickly before things start to dry here, but let's add in a couple of small little leaves here and there. I don't want too many because I want the flowers to be the main character here, not the leaves and the greenery. And the this bottom right hand side is kind of going to be an overflowing floral section. They always say what you, in a flower pot, you want the thrillers, was it thrillers, chillers, and I forget, there's 3 types. There's the type that thrill, the type that, oh my gosh, what are the, I can't remember. I'll put it in the video when I remember it. There's 3 things. It's like thrillers, chillers, and fillers, or something like that. All right, now I'm taking a yellowy orange color that I want the basic color of my pot or cup that's holding the flowers. I want it to be that contrasting color to those, all the purples and the blues that are in the flowers themselves. I'm just going to do a couple small lines. So maybe this container has some ridges in it. And then I want the left-hand side to be a little bit darker in color, like a little bit of a shadow perhaps. And we'll see how that goes. So I added in a little bit of brown to that. I like that color. Adding a little bit more brown to the left-hand side. I don't want to overwork it, which I'm afraid to do. So I want it a little bit more brown. So what I'm going to do is add in a little bit of purple to that yellow-orange, and that should kind of muddy it a little bit. It sure did. Now I'm afraid I might be overworking it if I do too much more. Gosh. Alright, I need to do something else. I'm going to collect some of this purple brown color and take that off and try something else. I just thought of something. Maybe, what if I dripped the color in? How should I explain this? What I'm thinking. Actually, I'll just show you. What am I talking about? So let me collect some of this color that I just put down, and I want to try something new. So let's start over. Let's do more of the yellowy orange. Add a fresh layer there. Alright. More orange. Now let's drip in some of that purple color. So I'm going to get a lot of water, load my brush up with a lot of water and a lot of pigment. And I'm going to add in a bunch of the purple pigment and see if it'll kind of run down. Need more. More purple. The answer is always more purple. Alright, there it is. Now it's kind of starting to run down the jar or canister. Oh, I like that. Yes, that was a good choice. So my mistake actually turned into a happy accident is what they call it, right? Live on camera, happy accident. Oh, I like that. Let's see how it looks when it dries. And this is what I love about watercolor. You can start with something completely random and end up with something that feels really soft and intentional. And if yours looks a little different than mine, that's actually the whole point. No 2 of these will ever look the same, and I think that's what makes it so much fun.
Okay, friends, I'll see you in the next video when you want a watercolor again. Bye.